Hi, my name is Arnie Villarreal. Thank you for joining us on A Compton Cop YouTube channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit like. And please enjoy the next video we're about to show. Again, if there are any other retired cops out there or cops that want to be interviewed, please contact me at narcos@comptoncop.com. This guy took me under his wing when I first came on, John. Palafox was really just a heck of a cop, man. And what I learned from Palafox was command presence. Because when this guy walked into a house or he walked into a situation, it's like time froze, and he took care of it. And it was, he was the OG, man. He worked narcotics, he worked gangs, he grew up, born and raised in Compton. So he knew what it was. And we didn't have to see straight out of Compton because we lived it, man.
Yeah, they made a lot of mistakes in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, you know, they the battering ram. They used the battering ram like with like the LAPD. That was bullshit.
Right.
We did the tow truck with we ripped off the doors.
We had that yellow tow truck.
We did it humanely because the other way you could crack into the wall and it could be a little kid sleeping there.
Yeah.
We just ripped everything out.
We had, and Marcos can attest to this, you know, and he set it up. He would say, okay, you're the hammer, you're the hook, and you're the lock.
You're the E-man, evidence guy.
Yeah, the entry team to go in as soon as this thing flies off.
And everybody had to perform exactly.
The guy on the side,
their
the
safety
guy running to the
depended on
back.
the guy next to you.
Yeah, and this is where I learned it from, you know, and drawing it on the board, on the chalkboard. You remember that, man? Okay, this is where you're at. And we didn't call the patrol unit until,
you know why that was, right?
so nobody can know the location
Exactly.
where we were going,
we had people in the department
that were snitches.
that on record they had family members that they were there from the community. They had families there. We couldn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Because they might give heads up that we're hitting the place. That was crazy, man.
And he can tell it to you. He can back up whatever what I've told you, what I've said. He knew Tony, the guy in the last video that I was, Tony Farrar, that I was riding with. And Tony became the chief of police where he worked at in Rialto.
He got me into Rialto.
And he got him into Rialto. And Tony was the guy that was cursing at me, you idiot, you effing idiot, you know. Yeah, because it was my first night on the job, and they told me to pick up the phone, and they sent us out to a traffic accident. Tony didn't like traffic. He wanted to go chase dope.
Yeah.
That was his bag.
Yeah. He also liked stolen cars.
Yeah, G-Rags. Yeah, man. That's what, you know, see? And Tony was yelling at me, why'd you pick up the phone, man, you idiot? You don't ever pick up the phone. Like, well, they were telling me to pick up the phone, you know?
Yeah.
But
we bogged down on a traffic accident.
You got sucked into that.
Yeah, we got sucked into that, and so he was a little upset, man.
A little perturbed.
Yeah, but today I've got one of the what they used to call the OG original gangsters of Compton, cops, and my good friend, a loving friend that really took me under his wings when I had first started there, Marcos Palafox. And we're going to ask him a few questions today and tell some stories, the fun times. We're going to laugh, you know, and go from there, you know. Marcos worked gangs, he works narcotics, he was out in the field in patrol, and he'll explain that to you. And I'm really glad to have you here, Marcos, and giving me the opportunity to, you know, interview you, man. And if we can get this out and get some other cops, you know, to do the same what we're doing, that'd be a great help.
My name is Marcos Palafox, and I work from in Compton PD from 1982 to 1990, and I started off in patrol, and I was Before I got my feet wet in patrol, I was drafted into narcotics.
Now, why were you drafted into narcotics right off the bat, man?
First off, because I was Hispanic, and they needed minorities to buy the dope, hand-to-hand sales.
So you were doing hand-to-hand sales at corners, houses, and then what would happen after that, Marcos?
Well, either we do a buy bust, you can bust them immediately, or we get a search warrant. If it was a location, a residence, or a bar, or whatever it was, we had to get you normally get a search warrant for that.
Right. And did you write up the search warrant yourself after you bought the dope, or did one of the partners in there, Narcos?
No, you buy the dope, you get the search warrant signed, you write it up, go to a judge, get it signed, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's about the gist of it right there. And would we serve the search warrant the same day, or would we wait a couple of days, or what would?
Well, you'd have your search warrants ready to go, and our supervisors, which was R.I.P,
Right.
would come in. All of us says, "Who's ready? Who's up?"
Who's up to bat, man? That's right, man.
And if you had a search warrant ready to go, you'd raise your hand, Sarge, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And then what that means is you have a chalkboard, and you call in the officers when you're going to do a search warrant. You draw a picture of the location, tell everybody where the doors are, the windows, any dogs in the yard, and we'd bring down. Once that's done, you assign where you want the people. Who's going to do the entry? Who's going to kick the door? If the door was a security door that needed to come out, so we have our own tow truck.
Right, I remember
And
that big yellow
we'd
tow
get our
truck.
cables. We have the 150-foot cable, the 100-foot cable, and the 50-foot cable.
Right.
So whatever it was necessary, we do it. One guy was assigned to punch a hole in the door. The other one had the hook for the cable.
Right.
Put that on, and you yell, "We're ready!" To
It's
the
a
tow
go,
truck. It's
go.
a go. The tow truck came out, pulled it off, and then the entry was made.
That's nice.
Now, a majority of these places were rock houses.
What do you mean by rock, man?
The dope dealers would come in, they'd rent a little house, they'd be barred up, and specialized in on the front door would be a little
slit,
slot,
yeah,
where they would do the transactions, and all they'd have in there is basically a refrigerator, a telephone, dope, and guns.
right. And these guys, they would be behind the screen door there, and they would come in. I mean, the buyers would come in and they would ask for a dub,
Yes.
or
whatever you
whatever
want.
the slang was then. You remember, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got a dub, and then give me the money.
Right.
And you would slide the money through the door. They'd hand you the dub with rock cocaine already all rocked up in a plastic baggie. Or if they didn't have plastic baggies, they just gave it to you like in your hand.
Yes, whatever you needed, you tell the guys that,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd hand it to you. They hand you the dope. First you hand them the money, and they hand you the dope.
Yes.
Normally.
At that time, it could be anywhere from $20 to $30, huh? Most of the time we did $20 buys.
Half track, $150, whatever.
Yeah, whatever he can get, whatever informant or whatever. If one of us were to go up there to the door, we knew what the house was selling,
Yes,
what they could handle.
right.
We didn't want to go up there and ask for a kilo and make us look really stupid, huh? What was the most scariest moment when you did a search warrant at a house, Marcos?
That was a day when it was one of my fellow officers was Preston Harris. He had made a cocaine buy. He bought some rocks at this house on right off of Bullis, just north of Rosecrans.
Oh yeah.
Just in that area. He had bought in some rocks that he got a search warrant, and then that night, the night that we were going to do the search warrant, that during the day he went to the same house just to verify that it was still up.
Right.
The guy came out of the door, gave him the rocks, and Preston Harris noticed that he had a shoulder holster, a gun in a shoulder holster.
Oh, he was packing.
He was
man.
armed.
He was ready.
So that night when we were going to hit the place, Preston Harris laid out the location on the chalkboard, and I normally made entry. That was my thing. I like to make entries. I don't know why. You saw my evaluation, what Ari said.
Yeah, man.
That, I was always up.
Like I tell you, this guy, what I learned from him was command presence. And when you were in narcotics, you had to take that role.
So that night when he started giving the assignments, he wants certain officers at the left side of the house, and then he told me, "I'm going to do the entry." Preston Harris said, "Palafox, I don't want you to do it tonight. I'm going to want you on the right side of the house by the driveway." And to me, I personally said to myself silently, I said, "Why? I normally go in, but not this time."
Yeah.
So I just followed orders. I'm just a soldier there, So we hit the house with, Nussman was a uniform. We always had a uniform when we hit these places because we want to make sure that the suspects didn't say that he didn't know we were cops.
Right, exactly.
Nussman had the shotgun on the entry. So you had Preston Harris, Nussman, and another officer, which I don't recall who it was. I was on the driveway. Preston Harris stated, "Compton police, we have a search warrant. We demand entry." He kicked the door in, and as they went in, shots were fired.
Wow.
Preston Harris backed out, Nussman backed out. Preston Harris was hit in the forehead. At that time, we didn't know how bad it was. Nussman got hit in the mouth. Got hit in the mouth. He's bleeding on the left cheek.
So 2 cops down.
2 cops
there.
backed out. Ari looked at me. He says, "Palafox."
They bring in the bull.
I went.
That was your
first thing I
nickname.
did.
Bring in the bull.
I was scared that time. I'm not going to lie to you. That was really scary. I went to Nussman. He still was standing up, port arms with his shotgun, bleeding from the mouth. Harris was out of commission. I told Nussman, "Are you okay? Can you back me?"
Wow.
Let's go. I don't know if Jeff Nussman was an ex-Marine. He had Vietnam combat experience, so I assume that's why he still
That's
had.
what we know, right?
He still had presence of mind, to come in. We went in. The suspect was obviously laid himself out on the carpet with a gun 2 feet away.
Right.
He had realized apparently the mistake he made.
Yeah, he made a big mistake.
So, needless to say, he was taken into custody. Nussman and Harris were flown out of the area by the sheriff's helicopter.
Wow.
And taken to Martin Luther King Hospital.
Killer King. That's
King.
what they call it, man, back then.
That was the scariest, I think, to me. I mean, you were scared, but you know what? At the time, you have to do your job.
That's
I
right.
was scared. I'm not ashamed to say it, but that should not hinder you to do your job. But that's the frame of mind we were all in.
So all of your training and experience in the academy, even before that, kicked in, huh?
Yes.
It just, you knew exactly what to do, and when you were called to the front line, you went at it and got it done.
Yeah, it's also my military background. You just took orders, you followed it. My training officer was J.J. Action Jackson, of course, another ex-Vietnam veteran. That was my training officer. And
Mine too, on your swing shift, yeah.
And you just followed orders.
Yeah.
That was it. You do your job. I know I was scared. I was really scared, of course, but you have to do your job. That was the scariest moment of my time.
Preston Harris, yeah, he just suffered a facial
it skimmed
wound.
off his skimmed off his forehead. He was lucky. Nussman got it in the mouth and went out his cheek.
Right.
Wanted to know if you should be put back 76 to Cabana Circle or to the subject.